It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission really is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all those resources that are necessary to execute the big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And so this morning or this evening, this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, I have the honor and privilege of speaking to the one and only Dr. Cheryl Wood. Now, Dr. Cheryl Wood is someone I've known for, 10, 15 years now. It's been a long time, by the way. And what I can tell you about her, other than her being a wife, and that's probably pretty cool, other than her being a mom, two twins, or I would say two twins, but not identical twins, and a daughter who just finished high school, I believe, and not only running a successful business, which is very, very important, but being active in her community and being active in helping other people empower their lives by helping them really understand the power of their voice and using their voice in corporate and as an entrepreneur to communicate with others better, smarter, faster, while making money. That's the short version of it. But let me just bring up Dr. Cheryl Wood, and she'll tell you about herself in a moment. But what's up, Dr. Wood? How are you?
Hey, Shay Brown, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege, a treat and a treasure to have you here. But before we get into you and how cool you are and all that stuff, this whole thing about stage domination, take just a minute or two, because I know you could do a whole class on it. Why are people so afraid of just public speaking or using their voice to extend their message and what they do? Because they say that's the number one fear, folks, is just public speaking.
Yeah, I would say from my experience, it is number one, a lot of people have what we call imposter syndrome. And so they're questioning whether or not they are qualified to be the person at the front of the room who is teaching someone or inspiring someone else. And that's because most of us are our own worst critic. And so we are judging ourselves way before we ever even imagine somebody else is judging us. And when you put the two together, people really do have this fear about getting up in front of a room and sharing their voice, their message, their story. The second thing I believe is people are afraid to take the stage because they do not understand that speaking and talking are two different things. And if you're talking, then you're really just getting on a stage and potentially winging it. And you're hoping that the right words come to mind at the right time and that the right stories will pop into your mind to share and move the audience at the right moment. But speaking is a craft. It's a skill that you want to develop. And when you're speaking and you've developed the skill of speaking, what happens is you're no longer winging it. You have a framework to your presentation so that you know there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, and in between that, there's some stories and some talking points and other things. And so when you have a structure, then you feel more comfortable and more confident.
Can I just address the elephant in the room if I can for just a moment? You put two words together, which I'm trying to understand, and hopefully you can help us understand it. And one word was stage, and the other word is domination, right? So you got this thing called stage domination. And for the entrepreneur that's out there listening right now, for the professional or the executive that's at work every single day, for the individual that might be an author or a coach or a speaker, if someone listening, they hear the word stage domination, they have two questions, at least I do. Number one, what is your definition of stage domination? That's number one. And number two, why did you feel now is the right time to put those two words together to empower and help others?
That's such a great question. So first of all, we want to make it clear that stage domination is not just for people who want to speak on stage. It's so much bigger than that. So in other words, we want you to view the world as your stage. And if you think about anybody who's on stage, what are they doing? They're really sharing with you their gifts and their talents and their skills. So what we want people to come to this event and learn is, how do I show up powerfully and walk in the space that the world is my stage, and every day I get to share my gifts so that I'm helping, I'm blessing, I'm inspiring, or I'm educating someone else. And that's why the subtitle is Unleash Your Brilliance and Transform Lives. So all of us have a gift. All of us have a skill. We have something that we can share with others to make our lives bigger than just ourselves. And the question is, are you doing it? And if not, then when? And if not you, who? So we really want to create a challenge for people to step into the power of their unique gifts, their purpose and their passion, and take it globally so that you're not just impacting a small community, but the global community. And I would say right now it's more appropriate now in this time frame than ever before, because when you share your gifts, a part of that is your story. It doesn't matter what you're amazing at, what you're brilliant at. There is a story connected to why you're passionate about that thing. So some of us have things we're good at, but we're not necessarily passionate about it. But when you find the thing that you're passionate about, that you want to do, you find a joy in doing every day, and you're amazing at it, wow, that's a different experience. And so we want people to step into that power, because when you connect your story to the gifting that you have and the passion that you have, now you're going to impact even more lives on a grander scale. Because how do people pass down information? Just by human nature, we pass down information through the power of storytelling. Just think about the when you first come home, and maybe you're seeing your spouse or you're seeing your kids. What's the first thing you ask? Hey, how was your day? And what do they proceed to tell you? Normally a story. And the story might go something like, Mommy, today XYZ teacher just got on my nerves and gave us this unexpected test, and I failed the test, or whatever the story might be, but it's a story. Same with your spouse. I might say, babe, how was work? Oh man, they got on my nerves today. Can you believe that? And he goes into a story. So everything that we pass down to other people is typically through the power of storytelling. So we're in a time frame in life and history where people need more hope, more inspiration, more motivation, and more empowerment about a brighter future ahead of us than they've ever done before, because the world seems like it's gone crazy. So why not come get the tools, right, and the resources that will allow you to share that story that's a part of your gift and your passion in a way that's more compelling, in a way that's going to impact more people and transform more lives.
One of my 12 rules for life is collaboration crushes competition. Collaboration crushes competition. And this whole stage domination, and for those folks that are tuning in, I'm just want to address what's going on. You can go over to stagedomination.com if you want and say, Shay, why are you on this whole kick? Because I'm curious, and you might be curious as well. So you can go over to stagedomination.com. Just take a peek for yourself, www.stagedomination.com. And I'm going to ask Cheryl to fill in this blank while you're going over there, and that is, you are collaborating. And you've got a couple of different individuals. And I know there's something about mindset, and I understand there's something about unlock your purpose. And I know there's something about confidence, and there's something I think about your voice that I think that's included. So take a moment and share how each of the individuals that will be, I'll call them guest experts, if I can say that, because they're not really speaking. They're going to be training and they're experts. Why did you bring this group together to collaborate on this project? And what can we, the audience who will be in attendance, expect?
Oh my goodness. I love all of your questions today. So look, I believe that success leaves clues. And some of us make success, succeeding in pursuing our passion and the thing that lights us up and ignites our soul, we make it too difficult. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to recreate. You can simply get into a space with people who are already winning big, who are succeeding, who are perhaps 30 or 40 steps ahead of where you want to be. And they literally are leaving breadcrumbs for you to follow, so that you can pick up some of the things that they're doing, apply those things, and have some greater level of success in your own life. So yes, we're bringing you the best of the best experts who haven't been just doing this for a few minutes or even just a few years, but they've been doing this. Some of them have been doing this for several decades. They've been speaking into other people. They've been unleashing their own gifts and their brilliance. They've been doing personal development and helping others to develop personally and professionally. So we want to bring you the best. That's why we're hosting this amazing experience. And that is what it's going to be, an experience. Like you said, it's more than just, you're not just sitting in a chair and listening to 3 or 4 speakers. You're coming and you're getting a training. So it's almost like a master class and a workshop for each individual speaker for a full day. Your life will never be the same. I'm hosting it, and I'm already in expectation that my life is never going to be the same, because I understand what it means. Yeah, I know what it means to get into the room, just to be able to be in the room with people who have achieved such massive success, and not just achieved it, Shay, but they've sustained it over the long haul. Because
Well,
anybody,
you can't just leave us hanging. I mean, okay, you can't leave us hanging like this. It's not fair. You keep saying they. Take a moment if you can and just slow down, and then you can speed up. But who is they? Number one, and number two, what's one or two strengths that they bring for this magical experience that's going to take place that not only will change my life, but those that depend on me, lives will be better because I am better. So what's the question, Shay? You keep saying they are going to be there and they got decades of experience and they bring knowledge to the table and they are going to change your life. Well, we want to know who in the LL Cool J are these they individuals. So tell us specifically, who are they? Then why did you pick them and the skill set that they're bringing that's going to make us better? And for those folks that are curious what I'm talking about, go over to stagedomination.com. But I want you to hear from Dr. Wood herself. But you can go over to www.stagedomination.com. And when you're there, you can see all the details. But I want to know why she did it. Let's hear from her. Over to you.
I'm glad you asked. So first, none other than Lisa Nichols. And if for any reason you don't know who Lisa Nichols is, she's an empowerment guru expert. She's a master at personal development, as well as teaching people how to amplify their voices. You might even remember her or know her from if you've ever watched The Secret. So she specializes in this whole concept of the law of attracting and truly magnetizing to your life everything that you desire. She's going to be coming to this event and talking to us about how to develop a no matter what attitude, which, by the way, she has a New York Times best-selling book called No Matter What. And so she's going to dig deeper into what that really looks like and how does that no matter what attitude then trickle down into your patterns and your behaviors that show up as you're striving to achieve success. And sometimes we just got to make little tweaks to our patterns, our behaviors, sometimes our attitude and our thought processes so that we can move the needle on where we want to be. So she's going to really drive home that point, as well as teaching us how do you align yourself with your soul-driven work, not just any kind of work in the world, soul-driven and purposeful work. How do you discover what that is and then align yourself with it? So you're just going to be just that alone, you're going to be in for a huge treat. And then I'm going to move on to none other than Trent Shelton. If you don't know the brother, he is bad to the bone. You can check him out also on social media. He is a previous NFL player, sports player turned motivational speaker, empowerment guru. And he teaches you how to protect your peace. He's really big on that. He teaches you how to press through some of life's most difficult challenges and obstacles, but you keep getting back up, like you will not stop getting back up. And he's really going to dive into how to not just discover your potential, but live in your potential. That's a whole different thing. And then last but not least, Gloria Mayfield Banks. Woo! And I adore her because first of all, she's here in the DMV area and she is super bad all day long. In fact, that is her saying, super bad all day long. You might know her or you might not from the days of Mary Kay. She is the number one. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Number one salesperson out of all of Mary Kay. I think it's 3.4 million Mary Kay consultants. So she is their only Black woman who is a national elite executive director. I know it's a fancy title. Just know, all you gotta know is she number one, which means she is a master at two things. She's a master at connecting. She's a master at influencing. And I'll add a third one. And she's a master at selling. That's all you got to know. And so all of those things can serve us well because all of us are selling something. Even if you're not selling a product, you're selling an idea that you want people to buy into. You want to have influence so that people support you. If you're doing some type of fundraising or if you want to get some type of funding for your business, like you have to be able to get people's buy-in and you have to be able to develop connections and relationships. And she's also a guru at teaching you how to build a team of support so that you can get to your end result much quicker than you would by yourself. right? Like just hearing all of that, it makes me fired up about being in the room to be able to receive everything that they are going to pour out.
You know, I'm excited. I'm going to be there. I'm going to encourage folks that are there to be there. But I know that some of you have things going on, right? And I understand that the time is comfy, maybe to stop overthinking things, maybe stop avoiding the tough, or stop letting others put limits on you. And someone like Dr. Wood, who has a husband, three children still. I guess they're still almost adult children, but three children. You're getting up there now. Pretty soon you'll be like, I have 3 adult children. But no, she's like, nah, never, Shay, never. Runs a business, understands what it's like to have to balance so many activities in life. For the persons out there, it's like, wow, Dr. Wood, for me to be there, I've got to juggle a whole lot. Number one, help them. How do you manage all the things that you do? And number two, why should they press their way and make some adjustments in the schedules and things that are going on in order to make sure they're there? So 2-part question: time management and how to make adjustments to be there.
Yeah, how do I manage it all? Number one, I'm very intentional about where I spend my time. And because I'm very intentional about where I spend my time, and I want to make sure wherever I go, I'm going to grow. Oh, let me say that again. Wherever I go, it's going to result in me being able to grow. And so because I value that as a wife and a mother and a global business owner, I make sure that the experiences that I create for my community are places where they can grow. So be intentional about being in the spaces that elevate you, that accelerate you, where you can plant your feet in and really feel the growth, almost immediate growth, because of the knowledge that's being shared, the stories that are being poured into you. So I would say it's number one, it is a great use of your time, because you will not leave the same. And I know people say that all the time, but with this group of speakers, and I'm the 4th speaker, so Dr. Cheryl's coming with the fire. I'm going to pour into you about this very topic. How do you balance it all or create some level of harmony with your responsibilities and your possibilities? And how do you start at the bottom and then grow even when you don't have a Rolodex full of big names? Because I didn't start here. I'm here now because of the seeds that I've planted to get here. So I'm going to talk about all of those things and how do you really grow a successful, thriving business? I've been in this speaking business for this year is 13 years. How do you grow it? How do you sustain it? And how do you consistently raise the bar for yourself so that you are never done crossing the finish line? You're just crossing one finish line and moving it and then crossing another finish line. I'm going to really take a deep dive into that. So I would say you need to press your way, because number one, it is going to be an amazing use of your time, a valuable use of your time where you will grow almost immediately. Number two, because you get to come and you get to connect with other like-minded people. And this is something I think we hear it so much almost as a buzzword that it's kind of lost its value and importance. But I need you to add the value back to that. I need you to fully understand that who you're becoming, a big part of that is who you're around. What are the environments that you're consistently placing yourself in? Are they environments that are challenging you and stretching you? Because some of us are going into places and we're comfortable because we're the smartest person in the room and because we have all the answers and everybody's calling our name, but that does not produce growth. Growth is produced through you being stretched and expanded into spaces that maybe you haven't even considered yet, and being able to see other people who are also stretching and expanding and growing. Community is one of the most powerful things that you will get as a part of this experience on July 12th. And I don't know what the second question was, but I'm hoping that answered the first part.
that answered both parts, which is one, how do you balance time? And number two, for those folks that have to make that decision, why should they make the decision to move things around, schedules? Some of them got practices for kids and other things. to make sure they're in the room. And some of folks have to travel, and you did a great job doing that. Now tell them the magical question, which is where can they go? What's the website to learn all about stage domination, which I think I've done, but they want to hear it from you. Where is it located? So give them those two. And I know there's a couple of different options on folks that want to attend, because sometimes I go, Cheryl, and I want to be like in the VIP. I want to be in the know, baby, and I always go for that. And then other times I've gone, Cheryl and Dr. Wood, and it's I just needed to be there. Does that make sense? And I didn't have the resources. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, there was many times that I shared a room with like 4 people just to be at an event, and getting a ticket was a big deal. And it wasn't long ago, less than 10 years ago, I was in that very, very position. So I want to be sensitive. So as you answer the question, where can they go, and the location, and then tell them about the different levels that you have. And I know you're sensitive that every level you have is amazing. So I want y'all to listen with new ears as you're listening, and say, wow, I didn't think of it that way. And watch new eyes, because she's going to express to you the different levels and what's included. Over to you, Dr. Wood.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is mark the date on your calendar, July 12th. That's a Wednesday, July 12th. We'll go for the full day. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. at an amazing venue right here in the D.C. area, Washington, D.C. And we've been very, very cognizant of where people are in their lives. Everybody's not in the same space economically. And so, yes, we do have some really amazing spaces for you to play with us if you want all the bells and whistles. But then we also have created a ticket that will allow you to just make sure that you're in the building, because when you show up like that, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to get connected to. You don't know what blessing is going to be bestowed upon you just by showing up and being in the building. So our standard ticket is only $299. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't tell you the last time I got a $299 ticket for any event, let alone an event of this magnitude with speakers and trainers and gurus of this magnitude. You're talking about people who travel the world with the best of the best, the brightest leaders, thought leaders in the world, and you get to be in the room with them. So the standard ticket is only $299. That gets you into the building, gets you your admission, your standard seat, and you get to enjoy the full experience. That's the beautiful part. Every ticket gives you the full day experience. There's nothing that you're not going to receive from the speakers. And then we have a general ticket, a VIP ticket, and an elite ticket. So our general ticket is, I believe we're at $399. We recently received a sponsorship, which has allowed us to subsidize a certain portion of tickets, which means I think we're running that until May 26th. So for right now, that ticket, I believe, is $399, only $399. And that also gets you a little better seating, get a little bit closer to the front. So you get your general admission seating. You also are going to enjoy lunch there at the venue, and the full day experience. And then we move to VIP. And of course, you get a little more bells and whistles with your VIP. That's only $799, only $799. And the beautiful thing is, if you purchase now within this next few days or so, you're going to be able to even opt for 2 payments if you act quickly. So you want to do that before the end of the month of May in order to get that special, to be able to split the payment into 2 payments. So $799 for VIP. That includes VIP seating. Now you're almost at the stage. So you're up close and personal. You can almost see the sweat dripping off their faces to be that close. And you get some special VIP bonuses and a swag gift and a special lunch and just some other exciting things. And then there is the elite ticket. Woo! Now, let me say this. Right now, we are currently doing the special with the subsidized sponsorship, where there is $1,000 off of the elite ticket. It is only $14.99, and you can split that into 2 payments. But let me explain to you what you get. This is for people who are like, no, I'm coming because I want to be all in. So not only do you get front row seating for the elite, but you also get to have an exclusive lunch with the 4 amazing speakers, myself, Lisa Nichols, Trent Shelton, and Gloria Mayfield Banks, just for the people who are elite. And you will get a photo op with all of the speakers. So no one else on any other level ticket will get those bonuses. And you'll get, of course, some juicy elite gifts and all that good stuff. But the juiciest part from my perspective, is being on that front row and having that exclusive luncheon where you get to ask questions, Q&A, and being able to take that photo op with these amazing gurus. So you want to get in. Oh, let me add in one more. We've decided, because remember, this is July 12th, so the kids will be out of school. And look, we want to make sure that we are showing our children what it looks like to soar and thrive and to be in spaces where we can connect with people of like minds, people who are mission driven, and they're laser focused on where they want to go in life. It's so important now more than ever that we show our children that. So you can bring a student, as many students as you like, for only $99. That's just a $99 ticket. So as long as there's an adult that has paid to come into the building at a standard ticket or higher, you can bring as many kids as you want, and the tickets are only $99 each. So we really have done everything possible to make it an easy yes for people to show up for their own transformation.
Wow, I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. Once again, the website to go to is www.what?
StageDomination.com. StageDomination.com.
So to go to www.stagedomination.com. Once they get there, the details up top, I'm sure, and then they can scroll down and see all the stuff you've been talking about. Because I know some of you like to read and want to know, okay, what's going on again? Why is this happening? But then you click the button right there at 10 Live. Just click the button at 10 Live, and I believe you'll just follow the instructions. You don't want to miss it. As we come down the home stretch, and thanks for letting me dominate that. I like that. Stage domination, Shay, dominate a little bit. But I know that was on the minds of a number of folks that are in our community as what is needed right now. Like you said, a time to grow personally, a time to grow professionally. And at the same time, for those folks that are a part of entrepreneur world, it's a combo deal. And you don't oftentimes get that at one time, at one place, from many different views. It's okay to see one guru and you say, okay, I'm there to be indoctrinated. They're going to baptize me. I get that. Don't judge me. Everything I learned in Pentecostal church, okay? It's another thing to show up and there's 4 different folks with 4 different disciplines, and any one of those disciplines alone will change your life to allow you to impact more folks. So I'm glad. Go over to www.stagedomination.com. As we close out, Dr. Wood, we like to do a segment called Today is My January 1st. And today is my January 1st for those folks that are joining us for the first time. Thanks a lot. We're glad to have you here. Welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. And for those that are family, you get to hear Dr. Wood's view of the world, if I can say it like that. But today is my January 1st, represents a do-over. It represents a fresh start. It means that your past no longer equals the future. And it also means that you don't have to wait till December 31st to get a new start at 11:59. It starts now. It starts now. And it starts when? Now. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Dr. Woods 2 questions. Number 1, when you hear the words, today is my January 1st, what goes through her mind? That's our personal mantra. And number 2, just what was the incident that she had where there was some setback, there was some challenge. And you know what? She had to create her own January 1st. She had to bounce back from that, by the way, if she don't mind being transparent. I mean, I know y'all want to know because I want to know. I'm curious. Over to you, Dr. Wood.
I just love that expression about, today being my January 1. I'm going to share, for me, it really clicks in terms of I get to make a decision that today is my day 1 versus, one day I'm going to get started. So it's either today is my day 1 or, okay, one day. I don't want to live in the space of, one day. One day I'll get started living my dream. One day I'll pursue what I'm passionate about. One day I'll start creating legacy. I don't want to live that life. I want to live a life of every day feeling like today is my day 1. And the reason that I say that is because I feel like none of us have ever arrived. Doesn't matter how long we've been doing the thing that we've been doing, how long we've been pursuing our purpose, our passion, our calling. Every day that you wake up and have life and breath in your body, you should treat it as your day 1, as your January 1, because there should be an excitement and an energy about going out and sharing your gift with as many people as possible, because that does become a part of your living legacy. So that's what that January 1, today is my January 1, means for me. It means taking advantage of every single moment, hour, day, to say, today is going to be my best day. where I get to play as the best version of me, but also I get to impact as many lives as possible. And then I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the second question.
You were spot on. That was perfect. Look, I just want to get your view of the world, and the audience loves to hear what today's.
You wanted me to be transparent and tell about a
And the
setback.
second part, I was good. The second part was, what was a moment that you had that there was some
Yes.
setback, and if your life is perfect, don't worry about it, or some challenge that you want to share with the audience.
Oh my goodness, if my life was perfect, huh?
Well,
That would be
some
boring.
people come on and say, everything's fine, everything's fine. And I believe them. I mean, I just know, like I said before, that hasn't been my story. Okay.
That would be pretty boring. I think that would be pretty boring for my life if I didn't have any juicy stories of setbacks and challenges and potholes I've fallen into. So just to kind of name one off the
Sure.
back, I would say it's when kind of like into the start of my journey of becoming a speaker, when I really decided that this is what I want to do for a living. And I made the decision to walk away from my full-time corporate job. At the time, I was working as a legal secretary in corporate America. I had done that for 15 years. So y'all, every day, if you can imagine, I was going to this little itty bitty cubicle and sitting there and shuffling papers as a legal secretary, when inside everything was like, crying out for me to really discover who I really was born to be. Nonetheless, I finally discovered, that speaking was the thing I wanted to pursue. I got the courage up, and it took a lot of courage and several years to finally make the decision that I was going to walk away from the corporate job so I could pursue this thing called speaking full time. So I was all excited and energized until I realized that once I left my job, I'm like, well, where are all the phone calls of people calling me to hire me to speak? Because people love you when you're free. That's what I learned. People love hiring you, booking you when you're free. But the moment you attach worth and value to what you bring in the marketplace, that's a different conversation. So I learned the hard way that the money didn't just start flowing in just because I decided I wanted to walk away from my job and pursue this thing called speaking full time. Like, I had to literally create an infrastructure in my business so that I could always consistently funnel people in. I could move them through the funnel so that they go from free to paying. I had to learn how to sell so that I could convert people, so that I wasn't going to be just a brokepreneur. It was a process. And for a long time, I was in a space where I struggled, especially as it related to financially in my business. And I didn't know if I was going to survive. I didn't know if I was going to make it. I didn't know if this big dream was really going to manifest. And I just had to keep pushing. The hard part of that story isn't even the fact that I wasn't getting paid. The hard part was 6 months after I got the courage to walk away from the job, my husband lost his job. So now we're in this space of almost desperation because now there's no income coming into the household. It's like, how do you keep your dream right there in front of you when you're so worried and stressed about finances and how you're going to pay next month's mortgage and the car notes and the keep the lights on and feed your kids 3 times a day? That was one of the darkest moments of my life, and I dare to say our lives, where I had a decision to make. It was one of two paths. It was either go back to what I knew already and just do it the way I already knew how to do it and just kind of abandon my dream, or press through the hardest, most challenging time of our lives and try to wait until I got to the other side where something greater was waiting for me on the other side. It's almost like when a plane takes off, right? It's not automatically smooth sailing or smooth flying, but you've got to break through that sound barrier. And sometimes, there's turbulence, and sometimes you have to break through before you get to the clouds. It's real shaky and rocky. And sometimes you catch yourself grabbing the person's hand next to you because it's that shaky. Well, I had to be willing to press through those shaky times and pulling back on everything, like anything that we were doing that was out of necessity, that was not necessity, we had to cut it out. So it was, turning the cable off, and it was no longer going and getting my nails done. I polished my own nails. It was doing my own hair at home. It was abandoning family vacations. We didn't go on a vacation for 6 years just for the possibility that maybe, just maybe, if I stuck with it, maybe if I didn't run back to what I knew how to do, but instead kept going in the direction that I was going, even though it was difficult and challenging, that just maybe something greater was on the other side. And today I'm so glad that together as a family, we stuck with it and that we kept pressing forward instead of turning backwards, because I could very likely still be sitting at someone's desk as that legal secretary. And there's nothing wrong with that as a career. I just knew there was a greater calling on my life, and I wanted to give myself permission to answer that calling. And now I don't have to hit the snooze button on my alarm clock 5 times before I wake up in the morning. Now I don't get sick on Sunday night thinking about going to a place that doesn't nurture my spirit and make me feel amazing. Now I wake up with joy in my spirit that I get to do what I love, that I get to speak life into other people's dreams and remind them to be willing to do what's hard so that you can achieve and experience a life that a lot of people will never get to experience. So that was one of my that's just one, Shay, one of my hard experiences. I mean, we could be here all night talking about hard experiences, setbacks, and failures, but you gotta want it. Our good friend Les Brown says that you gotta be hungry. Are you really hungry? And are you willing to, number one, put something in? What are you willing to put in? What deposits are you willing to make? And for some of you, it's going to be coming to the July 12th event. That's going to be your deposit into who you're becoming. Number two, are you willing to give something up? And maybe for some of you, coming to the July 12th event is giving up comfort, because you got to get on a plane and you got to fly here and then you got to fly back home. You got to get somebody to take care of the kids, but you are worth it. And then number three, are you willing to get back up from something that tried to break you? And last but not least, number four, are you willing to complete something? And when you identify those things, then you will never quit on your dream. You'll never quit on unleashing your brilliance in the world, because you understand that someone somewhere is waiting on you to show up. And so you've got to show up for you first before you can ever show up for anybody else.
Unleash your brilliance so you can transform lives. It starts there. Unleash your brilliance so you can transform lives. Dr. Wood, where do they go again? Give them the website one more time before we close out. What's the website to go to? Get your ticket.
Yes.
I'll be there on the front row. And the transparency that you hear from Dr. Wood through the power of these fiber optic lines, you're going to hear it there, along with 3 other experts who will be there on that stage for one reason only: help you unleash your brilliance. And it's deep inside of you. It's there. You know you got the potential to perform at a higher level. You know that. So they're gonna unleash that. But then once it's unleashed, you get to go transform more lives, impact more people, and leave a much larger legacy than before you stepped there on that day. So what's the website to go to again?
StageDomination.com. StageDomination.com. July 12th, Washington, D.C., y'all. StageDomination.com.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Wood, for being here on the show. We appreciate it. Everyone go over to www.stagedomination.com. I want you to know you're watching the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you. You're amazing. You're incredible. And I believe for you, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best, I promise you, especially if you show up at stagedomination.com, is yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Remember, time is long. Life, on the other hand, is very, very short. So you got to live in that moment. You got to make it count. God bless. We out. Thanks a lot, Dr. Woods. You're amazing. We're out of here. We'll see you at stagedomination.com. Peace.